Hey, Paul, Justice Dos Santos, MLB.com. I don't know if Moses floated you the figure, but this is the single largest crowd in the history of this ballpark. Not even Steven Strasburg or Andy Petty could draw more people. I mean, just before diving into the nuances of your start, how does it feel to know that you yourself were the reason that so many people were here tonight?
I didn't know that. That's cool. Obviously that's not why I play the game. It's not why any of us play the game. We play to win and compete. It's cool. It is cool to have an audience wherever it is. Obviously, playing at LSU, playing in the College World Series, you're going to have that no matter what. So that's humbling for sure. I'm glad we could give them a good game at the end of it.
Paul, Andrew Destin with the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette. Kind of on that note, you mentioned those college experiences. How did this kind of rank compared to those, just in terms of all the people that were on hand and what it was like pitching in that setting? Not to mention facing AA hitters.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't met a whole lot of people from Pennsylvania, but they seem a little bit more calm than Southeastern, than people from the SEC and that kind of thing. So, I don't know if college fans, professional fans, like whatever. The fans are definitely different. So it was a lot more calm, I think, than pitching at home or pitching in the College World Series. But again, it's cool to do anything with an audience. Again, it's just really humbling to have that opportunity in a AA game.
Hey Paul, Griffin, Floyd, Pittsburgh baseball now. I'm interested in hearing a little bit about how far you've come. 365 days ago you had a 2.73 ERA at Air Force, getting ready for an SEC season. If someone would have told you a year ago today that you'd be pitching in AA baseball, what would you have said?
I've gotten asked this a couple times. I don't know what I would have said. I don't know. Looking back, that wasn't the goal necessarily of going to LSU. Obviously, it was, and I mean that it wasn't the goal to pitch in AA my first professional season. It was the goal to go there and get better and win a championship. And looking back, everything proceeded very logically. Taking it one day at a time, one step at a time, and looking back, it all kind of proceeded in a very logical and step-by-step manner. But I think looking back a year ago, I wasn't thinking about having this opportunity. I wasn't thinking about what was going to happen in the draft exactly as it did, and I don't know where I'm going to be a year from now either. So I think the biggest thing is just staying present, taking it one day at a time, and that's been the biggest thing for me over this last year.
Paul, Baltimore.
Adversity is honestly, that's not what I would call it. Tonight, a bad outing is just a bad outing. It's just baseball, and obviously I want to go out there and win and pitch as best as I can every outing, and I'm going to do everything to prepare to do that, for every outing, but it is baseball. And, the beautiful thing is it's never as bad as it seems, and it's never as good as it seems. And so, looking at the outing today, it wasn't probably the best stuff, and it wasn't the best execution, but, they hit 3 balls through the infield under 90 miles an hour, and 9 times out of 10, I feel like those are outs, and they just landed 3 of them. Obviously, 2 walks are a killer, but to be honest, I wouldn't call it adversity. As much as an opportunity to grow and go out there, work on stuff over the next 5 days, and go out and compete again in 6 days. So that's kind of the way I've looked at it through life, not just baseball, but it's an opportunity. I'm going to come out, better because of it.
Ryan Risky at WTHA. What are some takeaways from this start going into your next AA start?
I would say the preparation piece in terms of my body and my mind. The hitters are definitely different. The plan that they have is different. And that's not. I'm not sure exactly what the differences are yet. But I knew there were going to be some differences. Coming here. Complex league hitters and low A hitters are not as mature, obviously, as AA hitters. With that said, the tools that these guys have, are better, but the biggest thing is just the plan that they have. So obviously, you know, it comes down to execution and me doing what I can do to you know, put myself in the best position for success. But you know, there's a reason there's a hitter in there, because I'm going to go up there and compete, and even if I execute a pitch, you might get a hit. So just kind of learning the nuances and the intricacies of pitching at a higher level.
Hey Paul, Connor Williams, Bucks dugout. Knowing that you're going into a game with like a hard pitch count or an innings limit, does that change how you prepare your mindset for the game at all?
It definitely changes something. I wouldn't say it changes how I prepare my body, but it definitely changes how I prepare, you know, for a game plan. Because if I'm going out there and throwing, you know, the plan was to throw 2 innings today, and I'm going out there and I'm not facing the lineup multiple times. So it doesn't mean I have to save anything for the second time, third time through the order. I'm trying to go out there and work on some stuff as well. So I'm going to try to throw all my pitches and work on it out there. So it's definitely different in that aspect. Sorry. Yeah, so it's definitely a little bit different, but I've done it, you know, for a few weeks already. That's not the nature of being a starter, obviously, and so the nice thing is it's not permanent.
Jared Parker, 6 News. What are some of the bigger changes or learning curves that you didn't expect coming to the pro level?
I mean, the biggest difference just in the nature of professional baseball is the difference in personalities in the locker room. You know, obviously, you know, playing at LSU, it's going to be a lot of kids from the Southeast and then some kids scattered around from around the country. But nobody's really going to be from other countries, and there's definitely not going to be a language barrier there. So that's just a little bit of a difference. How much time, you know, we have is definitely greater now. You know, just finding ways to fill the time in your day, but which is something that I don't think a lot of people recognize. You know, like I wouldn't say that the regular fan kind of recognizes that kind of thing. Just the culture shift is different, and I don't know if you can be prepared for it unless you like really grow up in a locker room, in a big league locker room or something like that. You know, like some kids have the opportunity to do. But in terms of like the play on the field, the consistency, and you know, guys have better tools, better plans, and you know, they're going to execute. The hitters are going to execute their plan more often than college hitters. You know, that's why they're here. So, you know, I mean, just got to kind of learn that part of the game a little bit more, learn what I need to do, because it's really cool to see our other pitchers and talk with them and learn from them on how they prepare and go out there and compete, which is, you know, why I'm here. I'm trying to learn that part of the game.
Paul, I'm with Dave Knackle from the Pittsburgh trip. Just you seem to obviously have a calm demeanor. Were there any nerves today, maybe that were unexpected?
Not really. The thing I learned, the first time I pitched at LSU, there were definitely nerves. But I think like learning from that was such a huge opportunity, not just for, you know, pitching with that brand and you know, having, you know, trying to win a 7th national championship. Like that's a huge opportunity, and there's pressure just inherently there. But you know, pitching in front of 12,000 fans or however many we had on Friday nights, if you're not used to it, that's going to bring nerves. But the thing that kind of teaches you, the thing that taught me is just figuring out a way to quiet it and just go out there and execute, because that's the game. In the end, nobody matters except for the people that are on the field, and everything else is just noise. You know, obviously it's nice to pitch at home and have, you know, 10,000 fans or whatever behind your back, but they only make a difference if you let them make a difference. And so I think that was something that I learned. I won't say I haven't mastered, but that's something that I definitely learned about being at LSU. So it wasn't a huge shock for me today.
Well, you had mentioned, you know, when you're preparing for these type of outings,
Really about picking other guys' brains, but I think the biggest thing about that we're kind of trying to accomplish is obviously go out there and see how my stuff plays and you know, see if I can get hitters out and that kind of thing, but also just learn the routine of professional baseball. Obviously it's a shorter rotation, you're pitching more frequently, kind of learning the routine that I need to do on the days in between starts. But I would say that the game planning that we did in college this year, having a pitching coach that came from the big leagues is an unbelievable opportunity. And as I've been in professional baseball, I've seen more and more how right he is. And he's not coaching us to win college baseball games, he's coaching us to prepare. Obviously when he is coaching us to win college baseball games, but he's also coaching us to prepare for where we're at and where we're going. And so the biggest thing I think is game planning, not just before the game, but in between innings. And, you know, looking at how I got a guy out the first time through the order, second time through the order, and, you know, figuring out how I'm going to try to get him out the third time through the order. You know, knowing my stuff, knowing what the hitters are doing, trying to figure out their plan, stuff like that, which I think I got a pretty good grasp of during the season this year. And obviously it's tough to kind of get a grasp for what the hitters are trying to do in, you know, the first hitter of the game or whatever, when, you know, when I'm going to face 8 hitters, you know, across 2 innings or 1 inning or whatever. But trying to think that way as much as possible, even though it's a little bit different. You know, that's kind of how I've been handling it. But it is tough to know that, you know, it's tough to work on that when I know that I'm only facing them one time through.
Paul, Mark Pulu at The Athletic. You talked about taking it one day at a time, but you've
The
had
biggest thing is not identifying as a baseball player first. Had a buddy at LSU tell me that you know, to identify as Paul Skenes who plays baseball, not Paul Skenes the baseball player. And it's very easy to get caught up in, frankly, this stuff, the fans, the, you know, autographs, all that. It's easy to get caught up in that. But like, in a way, it's not important, because again, none of this stuff happens if you don't pitch well, you don't win, stuff like that. And, you know, taking it one day at a time is, I think for me, it's kind of realizing that baseball is part of my life, but it's not, you know, it's not everything. And, you know, having relationships and people that are important to me, and things that I can fall back on outside of baseball, because, you know, there are going to be hard times, and, you know, not, you know, days that aren't successful, but, you know, there are going to be days that are successful, and doing that kind of thing helps you kind of stay the course, no matter if it's, you know, helping you stay the course and not getting caught up in failures or successes.
Both of your strikeouts came after you were trailing 3-1 in the count. Can you tell me a little bit about how you managed to fight back from that?
Yeah, it's a baseball game. Why pitch scared? Yeah, I think that's probably the Air Force in me, to be honest. Like, it's a baseball game, and the worst thing that's going to happen is I walk him. So just attack with my best stuff. You know, this is a way to compete, which is why I love it. It's a way to win, but there are other ways to win too. You know, like I was getting ready to fly jets, and that was you know, I wanted to win there, and so to me it's very minor in a way that we get to go out and play a game, and 10,000 people are home and, you know, come to watch, which is cool. But there's no reason in my mind to ever, you know, nibble or pitch scared or anything like that. I think it's funny, you know, when I get to a 3-0 count, like, it's almost like a weight off my shoulders. Like, okay, well, the worst thing that's going to happen is I walk in, because I'm probably not going to give up a barrel. Like, I trust my stuff. That's kind of how I look at it. And there's no reason to not believe in yourself. And if you do kind of get into that trap, then you're done. Tunnel pitch is better, basically, to righties and lefties. I go from the third base side to lefties and the first base side to righties. It's something I started at LSU. It was basically just, it was an idea that our pitching coach had to better tunnel pitches to righties and lefties, because I was pitching from the first base side the whole time. And he said that he thought that it would work better if that it could potentially work better if I started throwing from third base side to lefties. So that's something that I'm going to look into a little bit. I think too, if there are righties that I should throw from the third base side, or lefties that I should throw from the first base side on. But yeah, that's kind of the mindset behind it right now.